Imagine it's 1944. The skies over Europe are a battlefield, a chaotic ballet of steel and fire. For a young pilot named Jack, every dawn brought the roar of engines and the known uncertainty of whether he'd see another sunset. But he wasn't alone. In his squadron, he had brothers, men who shared his fears, his hopes, and his unwavering resolve. This is the story of his final mission, a story of courage, sacrifice, and a bond forged in the crucible of war. Jack wasn't a hero from a storybook. He was a kid from Ohio who loved baseball and fixing old radios, but when duty called, he answered. He learned to fly the P-51 Mustang, a magnificent, unforgiving beast of a plane. He learned to trust the men flying beside him more than he trusted himself. There was Tom, the squadron leader, a steady hand and a father figure to them all. And there was Sam, Jack's wingman, his shadow in the sky. Sam was a joker on the ground, always ready with a wisecrack to break the tension. But in the air, he was all business, a guardian angel on Jack's wing. They had a pact, simple and unspoken. They would always bring each other home. Their days were a blur of briefings, patrols, and dogfights. They escorted bombers deep into enemy territory, weaving through flak that looked like angry black clouds. They danced with Messerschmitts, their machine guns spitting tracers that painted fleeting, deadly lines across the sky. After each mission, they'd gather in the mess hall, the air thick with smoke and the smell of stale coffee. They'd talk about anything but the mission, about the girls back home, about the cars they'd buy, about the world they were fighting to protect. They'd mourn the empty chairs, the faces that were there yesterday but gone today, raising a glass to their fallen comrades in a quiet, somber ritual. The bond between them was more than just friendship, it was a lifeline. In the terrifying isolation of a cockpit, thousands of feet in the air, the sound of your wingman's voice over the radio was the only thing tethering you to sanity. Jack, I've got your six. Those 5 words from Sam were a shield. They meant I'm here, you're not alone. We're in this together. This brotherhood was their greatest weapon, more powerful than any machine gun or bomb. It was the belief that someone was watching your back, that your life mattered to the man flying beside you. Then came the briefing for the mission that would change everything. The target was a heavily defended industrial complex, vital to the enemy's war machine. The intelligence was clear. This would be a tough one. The air was tense as the flight plan was laid out. Tom, their leader, looked at each of them. His voice was calm, but his eyes held the weight of the world. We go in fast, we hit hard, and we get out. Stick together, look out for each other. That's how we win. That's how we all come home. As they suited up, the usual jokes and banter were gone, replaced by a quiet, focused determination. Jack and Sam did their pre-flight checks, a familiar routine that felt different this time. They exchanged a look, a nod. No words were needed. The unspoken pact was in full force. The roar of the engines was deafening as they taxied onto the runway, a line of silver predators ready to leap into the sky. One by one, they took off, climbing into the cold, clear air, forming a tight V formation against the vast blue canvas. As they approached the target, the sky erupted. The black puffs of flak appeared all around them, rocking their planes. Enemy fighters swarmed from the clouds like angry hornets. The radio crackled with shouts, warnings, and the chaotic symphony of combat. Bandits at 3 o'clock high. Brake left, brake left. Jack's heart pounded against his ribs, his hands slick on the controls. He followed Tom into the fray, his Mustang bucking as he fired a burst at a passing enemy plane. Through the chaos, Sam was right there. I'm on your tail, Jack. Clear your 6. Jack focused on the target run, diving towards the factory below. He released his bombs, felt the plane lurch upwards, and pulled back on the stick, climbing away from the blossoming explosions on the ground. Mission accomplished. Now, they just had to get home. But the fight wasn't over. As they regrouped, Jack saw 2 enemy fighters closing in on Tom's plane. Tom was hit. Smoke poured from his engine. Jack and Sam immediately dove to help, trying to draw the attackers away. Jack managed to damage one, sending it spiraling towards the earth. But the other was persistent, glued to Tom's tail. Suddenly, Sam's voice came over the radio, calm and steady. Jack, get Tom out of here. I'll take care of this guy. Before Jack could protest, Sam broke formation, deliberately putting his own plane between the enemy fighter and their wounded leader. It was a textbook defensive maneuver, but a dangerously heroic one. He was drawing all the fire. Jack watched in horror as Sam's P-51 absorbed a devastating volley of cannon fire. The plane shuddered, a wing ripped away, and it began to tumble out of the sky, trailing a long plume of black smoke. "Sam, Sam, pull out!" Jack screamed into his radio. There was only silence. A deafening, heartbreaking silence. In that moment, the world stopped. The pact was broken. Sam wasn't coming home. Fueled by a mix of grief and rage, Jack turned his plane and went after the fighter that had shot down his friend. The dogfight was a blur of instinct and training. He outmaneuvered the enemy pilot, lined up his sights, and squeezed the trigger, holding it down until his guns ran empty. He watched the enemy plane disintegrate, a small, cold comfort in the face of his immense loss. The flight back to base was the longest of Jack's life. He flew beside Tom's crippled plane, escorting his leader home, fulfilling one half of his duty. The sky was empty, quiet. The sun began to set, painting the clouds in hues of orange and purple, a beautiful, cruel irony. When they landed, the ground crew rushed to Tom's plane, but Jack just sat in his cockpit, the engine silent, staring at the empty space on the runway where Sam should have been. The war would end, freedom would be secured. But it came at a price that could never be fully repaid. It was paid by young men like Sam, who gave their tomorrows so we could have our todays. Their sacrifice wasn't for glory or conquest. It was for the simple, profound idea that people should be free. It was for the buddy flying next to them, for the families waiting back home, and for a future they would never see. Jack survived the war, but a part of him remained in that sky, with his brother. He lived a long life, but he never forgot the face of the Joker from his squadron, the guardian angel on his wing. The story of these pilots is a powerful reminder. It teaches us about the true meaning of courage and the incredible strength of human connection in the darkest of times. Their legacy isn't just in the history books. It's in the very air we breathe as a free people. We owe it to them to remember, to honor their sacrifice, and to never take for granted the freedom they fought and died for. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories of courage and history we must never forget.